Today we're going to talk with an ordinary average 4. Well, let's talk about that. Well, hey everybody, my name is Scott Vermillion and this is Ashley Canfield, and we are talking to you about what it's like to be a 4 on the Enneagram. So Ashley, thanks for your conversation today in class, and I want to follow up a little bit with you to talk what it means to be a 4 in 3 of the big relationships with your spouse, your kids, and with God. So let's talk about spouse for a second. How do you find being a 4 on the Enneagram, how does that affect your marriage? Like, how do you primarily relate to your husband?
Lots of feelings. So anytime he does something that doesn't fit my expectation of what marriage should look like, it feels hurtful because it feels personal. Because it's, for me, it's feelings. He didn't come at me with feelings, but
Right.
I take it as feelings. Like if he really loved me, he would have blah 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 blah.
Right.
And so I really have to hone in on truth. How does he love me? What are all the ways that he shows me he does love me? And I when I'm in a healthy space, I can do that. When I'm not, when I'm in a average to low space, I can very easily, my feelings are my reality.
Right. And so that's a really good point, because he may not even be, aware of the feeling you had over a comment or a missed opportunity, And so how do you express or learn to express those feelings to him?
I have had to learn to be quiet and think through my feelings before I throw them up on him. So otherwise, and there have been plenty of opportunities for me to do that and around him. But if I go to him and say, I really need to tell you how that made me feel, he is very gentle and listens to me. But it is also a hard balance so that he doesn't feel he was responsible for it.
Right.
Because it's very easy for me to make him feel responsible, especially since he's a 9.
Yeah.
So he can kind of take that on and go, oh, I owned that, and not put it back to me that really was my fault. Like, that's me. That's just a problem that I have.
Right. How can he help you? Because I think this would be good for other 4s as well. How can a husband, or in this case husband, but a wife, help a 4 with those feelings that you have?
First of all, not managing my feelings. So to let me feel my feelings. I love the idea of saying, tell me more, so I can talk it out, because the more I talk, the more I find my way to what I needed in the first place. So if he can just listen to me without, without falling in, without attaching himself to my feelings, that way he doesn't take it on himself, but he can just listen to it. If he can detach from it, that's helpful. Because then I can get it all out, and there's no shame in it being on him. He didn't own it, but he listened to me, and I was able to just get it out.
Yeah. And I think this is, for other numbers on the Enneagram, emotions are, especially those who are not in the feeling triad, it's scary, right? And for you to not be scared of emotions and to say they're all valid, I can feel all of them, sometimes multiple at one time, right? That for other people it's like, what are you doing? But I think that's really good coaching to say, it's okay. Like, there's to allow me to go on the roller coaster of emotions is a really good thing. So that's really helpful. When it comes to your kids, how has being a 4 been instructive to you in terms of being a mom?
That's actually been a really hard thing. The first several years of parenting, I think I literally looked at it like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought kids were going to make me feel good about myself. I really thought they were going to validate that idealism that I had. And so when they didn't take an interest in me, I was kind of like, wait a minute, they don't want to know me? And I think a lot of resentment came with that. And so actually, the truth is, having the Enneagram and seeing that that's something that I need, but not to put it on my children, has actually been good for me, because I can't put it on them. My children don't need that burden to bear. But I think that I did look at that at one point, like they're supposed to fulfill me in some way, give me my purpose. I thought they were going to be my purpose.
Yeah.
And I realized, no, there's still something missing.
Right. That's really, I think that's really a great awareness, because that is a forced struggle, right?
Yes.
And you only did 9 months of labor to birth this child. Don't they give you something? And you had 6 of them, from crying out loud. Wouldn't one of them turn around?
Doesn't one want to sit and talk about my feelings?
Exactly. Come on, people. And that's where I think, to be able to go, there's still a service aspect here, and yet your responsibility is different. When it comes to expressing or sharing your emotions is not necessarily a reciprocal,
right?
Kind of experience.
Not falling into that too as a mom, I think, is probably the hardest place not to go. Because I want, like, guys, don't y'all see everything that I'm doing around here and you don't care?
Because in stress you go to 2, and that really is one of those, I serve you, but
now know me.
a quid pro quo of relationship, right? It's not something you have to serve me back, but
no, exactly.
There's sort of a, hey, let's sit down and have a conversation with mom while we do grocery shopping, you can sit in the little front part, or whatever, and I'll push you around, but as long as you ask me deep questions about who I am, right?
Can we talk about something really deep? I know you're 4, but
right.
Come on.
Exactly. Or even, when they come home from the day,
oh yes.
Why don't you tell me more about your life? I could see that kind of be.
To which I got the question, why do you want to talk so much? From my middle schooler.
Yes, middle school kids, I find that you have to come at it slant.
Yes.
I've been asking questions like, what color shoes did your math teacher have? And then it gets them thinking, right? I have to, like, a totally random question. Well, tell me about how this influences your relationship with God. Being a 4, right? With all these emotions that you feel, how does that instruct your relationship with Him?
I think that I look at it now that I'm not defective, so it's helped me in that, because I think for a long time there is that glass that's there, and you think, if only I could get on the other side of the glass, I'd have what it is that everybody else has. I mean, it seems pretty stereotypical, but it's true. Like, that's how you feel. Like, everybody else has got it. I don't have it, and I don't even know how to get it. So knowing that there is kind of this structure of what a 4 looks like, I don't feel as defective. And in that, yes, it is a mask, but at the same time, God did create me the way I am. And there's a reason for it, and He can use that to help other people. So it just feels more, I guess it fits that I have a purpose now.
Yeah, well, absolutely. When I think about 4s, when they're in touch with God's belonging to God and His mission, and deeply loved, and that there isn't anything wrong with you. You're just on this side of heaven.
Yes.
You're in the fallen part of the world. You're not in the redeemed, fully part of the world. And so the area which 4s just totally shine is beauty, right? And capturing beauty and being able to express that. And you mentioned even today, as in class, you were mentioning just your desire to give meaning, and to motivate people with meaning, and I totally see you doing that. In conversations, you always ask the next question, where people would say, "I've had enough." You're like, "Tell me more." Move into that. As well as with your photography gifts, and being able to capture moments for people and have them think differently about their family or about this situation. I just think that is a true gift, that you connect people with the beauty of God's creation. And I don't mean that just in sort of the outdoor world, but I'm talking about the creation of people and relationships. Do you resonate with that?
I do, yes. And I definitely feel this connectedness whenever I can get people to not feel too scared to connect in an intense conversation. It can be a little scary. I didn't even realize how intimidating I was until a good friend pointed that out to me and said I was intense. And I was like, I thought everybody wanted to talk about that kind of stuff at breakfast.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And it feels so natural for me to dive into these deep conversations that I feel will change the world. Like if we talk about this, we can change the world.
Right.
And that isn't natural for everybody, but I didn't realize that.
And when that happens, when you feel people don't want to take up that conversation, do you feel rejected at all on that?
I definitely used to.
Okay.
I think now I've just realized that people are different, and people's capacity to hold different things is different, and so I look at I have a lot of used to where I probably would have been like, okay, I want to be around that person because they talk. Now I've just kind of categorized my friendships more like I love them for, something else. And I find something that they have in them that I need. Maybe it's a fun aspect, or they don't take life so seriously. Those kind of things have drawn me to people that are different than me, and I can connect with them differently.
Yeah. And I almost wonder if, as a 4, you have to have more patience for the other numbers to catch up, because I think about it, that it's not that your impulse is wrong.
Yes.
It's not that moving into that next conversation. It's just, are people able or willing?
Right.
Probably willing is the more true description of that.
I don't even think I realized, like I said, that I was intense because I thought everybody was thinking those same thoughts. Like we all want to change the world, right?
Yeah.
And no, not everybody does. No. In fact, when you throw certain words out, certain conversations out, people get a little bit paranoid, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, I'm not sure we want to talk about that.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
And that's, I think, another part of the beauty of a 4 is that you're just so comfortable in all of those emotions that where most people feel that conflict and where it causes a crisis for them. For you, it causes a connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a totally different way of thinking. And one, just to encourage you, is to not hear it as a disconnect, but rather as you're prophetic in a lot of these ways. And if you look at 4s, they probably have a big prophetic ministry, because they're taking people where they don't naturally want to go, and helping them see the world in a different way, that their patterns of seeing the world, they don't see it. And so whether that's through a conversation or through your artwork or through music or drama or whatever it is, that is the 4's gift. But then being prophetic is going to put you on the outside, right? That's just natural.
Yeah.
Have you resonated with the prophetic literature in the Bible? Have you found friends?
I haven't, and that's just not something that I've looked deeply into. Growing up, we did a lot of spiritual gifts. That wasn't one that ever stood out to me. But maybe I just didn't. Maybe I wasn't self-aware enough to see it.
Well, I was just curious and wondering if reading some of the prophets, you're kind of like, I kind of find a home with these guys. Like, that doesn't mean
Talking
you
about
have
some
to.
dark, scary stuff.
Right,
here.
exactly. That doesn't mean you have to go do that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that or that's your style even. But just sort of, there's these guys that were called to tell bad news to a community, or to see the world from a different perspective that they're actually seeing it.
I definitely resonate with that. Yeah. If you're not quite seeing it, but look. Yes.
Yeah. Well, this has been great, Ashley. Thanks for stopping by. And if you're a 4, I definitely want to encourage you to get to know Ashley. She would definitely be an encouragement to you. So thanks. This is one of the most unique, conversations I've ever had.
I appreciate you saying that.
You're welcome. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.